Hi everyone, it's Andrea from Sewspire.com. Wanted to give you an idea of what you can look forward to in this bonus video. We are going to be stitching up a mid-size lunch tote. This particular bag was designed especially for my daughter Megan, and she's going to use it to pack lunch for herself for work and school. So if you have a student in your life, hang around and I will show you step by step how to sew this darling little bag. I'm going to give you a look at some pretty fabrics that I just got in for a custom camera bag that I'm stitching up for a customer at Watermelon Wishes. We are also going to get a preview of a beautiful messenger bag which I made for a friend who is moving out of the area, and we have a little going away party for her this weekend. And I'm going to tell you more about some new creative genius merchandise that I have designed and will be launching in the very near future, as well as introducing you to a brand new interfacing that my friend Catherine is spearheading. So if this sounds like fun to you, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned. Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am back with you after a lovely staycation. Easing back into things here. We're going to play a little bit today. While I was on break, my friend Catherine from Sew Your Bag sent over a few samples of some new interfacing which she will be launching to the public on August 1st. And I have been patiently waiting to play with this interfacing until I was back here on the channel. So that's what we're going to do today. A need made itself apparent this morning when my daughter Megan was packing her lunch for work, and she's trying to, for whatever reason, jam everything into a large plastic Ziploc bag. And I said, "Sweetie, I should make you a lunch bag." And she said, "Wow, that would be great." So a couple weeks ago, Meg and I went to IKEA and we picked up these little 5-inch plastic reusable containers with the intention of her packing her lunch for school in these. And so I want to design a bag for Meg that will allow her to stack, say, 3 of these little containers plus an ice pack or 2, depending upon the temperature. She works on a horse farm, so she does usually put several ice packs in it when it is summertime and she's out there in the barn. So that's what we're going to sew together today. And then I wanted to give you a little bit of information about this product that Catherine sent over. Catherine is one of the very first Sewspire subscribers that I ever had, and I've had the pleasure of working with her on many different levels, and she is an absolutely skillful bag maker. Her passion is working with vinyl, and she does a brilliant job with that. So the name of this new product is DLH 2010, and it comes in 2 weights. Catherine's going to be offering light and heavy. We are going to be working with the heavy today, and in a future video we will work with the light. And I have already attached that to the back of the panels, which we are going to use for Meg's bag. It fused beautifully. If I had to describe it to you, I would say it is a cross between like Pellon 808, 809, which I use a lot of, and Decoville Light. It's like the perfect middle road between my 2 favorite fusibles. So I have no doubt with Catherine's expertise that I am going to be very satisfied with the finished product here. So shall we get started sewing? All right, so I did a little pre-calculations, and for Meg's lunch tote, which would be perfect for any school age child, teen, or adult who's going to be packing this year, I cut out 12 by 12 squares, and then I notched out 2.5-inch corners on the bottom left and right corners. You will need 4 of these 12 by 12 squares. 2 of them will be backed in your choice of interfacing. And for this particular project, you have lots of options. Of course, I wanted to work with Catherine's interfacing because I know Megan's going to want to wash this, and I know that when it is not in use, she would want to be able to store it flat. And I also know that because she's going to be putting it inside of her backpack when she's in school, that she is not going to want me to use anything really bulky. So in this case, I think the DLH 2010 Heavy is going to be absolutely perfect. So we'll be using the flat corner method. We're going to take our interior and exterior panels, interface the exterior panels. I did not use anything on the interior panels. And you're going to position each set, 2 for the exterior, 2 for the interior, right sides facing. I have pre-crafted my interior so I could verify that I have my measurements correct. But this process is exactly the same for the interior and the exterior. So you will use 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and you will stitch down the right and the left hand sides and across the base. You are not going to be stitching in these notches at this time. Okay, so I have stitched down the right hand side, the left hand side, and across the base. Now I want to reach inside here and align the base seam with the side seam. I'm going to pull that fabric taut there so I can align everything. And I can already tell this interfacing has a lot of stability, so that's wonderful. In case you're curious, I am using a woven home decor fabric for this lunch tote. So I have my side seam and my base seam aligned. I want to nest those seams, which just means you lay one to the right and one to the left. And then using that same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to stitch right across there to give this lunch tote some depth. Then I want to repeat that process on the opposite side there. Just pulling that nice and straight and then nesting those seams. And you should make sure that your base seam is going in the same direction. So in my case, it's going to the left. So I'm not going to trim anything up because I don't have interfacing on the interior. Okay, now I want to take those seams at the top there and open those up, and I'm going to fold over that top edge about 1 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and clip that down. And then after you get the sides clipped, then come around to the front side, get a clip right in the middle, and then along the back side. And then after that, you can come in at the quarter marks if necessary. I am noticing this interfacing is pressing over very nice, so that's helpful in attaining that nice straight fold. All right, so this is what I have so far, and I already have the interior crafted. So the interior will remain wrong side out, and you will fold that top edge over, and then you can fit that inside of the exterior. I like to align those side seams first and then pull on that and come back in again at center, front and rear, and then I go back in and combine at the quarter marks. And as long as your seam allowances were consistent, your lining should fit very nice. If you wanted to stop right now and stitch along the perimeter of this, you would have a darling little desktop trash can, which I also need. So I'm thinking I will replicate this and create myself a little desktop trash can. And then imagine if you had a contrasting lining, you could fold that over and you'd have a nice little rim there. So a super cute trash can as well. But we are going to convert this to a lunch pack. So what we will want to do next is attach a flap to this. And so the flap measurements for this particular project are 7 inches wide by 8 inches tall. And I have 2 of those rectangles, 7 by 8. One of them is backed with the heavy interfacing there. And I'm going to position those right sides facing. And I will stitch the left and the right side and across the base of this. If you wanted, you could add in a little angle. I'm going to go ahead and keep this nice and square, and I will use the same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I've stitched the left, the right hand, and across the base. For this flap, you may want to just clip those corners like that. If you have too much excess, feel free to trim that up to 1/4 inch. A lot of that is going to depend upon the interfacing that you select. I am thrilled with how this is trimming up. Makes a nice little crunchy sound as I cut. It's quite satisfying actually. Then you can go ahead and turn your flap around right side out, and if needed you can give that a good press. This fabric is really pretty. I found that at the Hobby Lobby in the home decor section. Meg loves green, and she's been trending more towards the natural earthy colors, so I hope she's gonna like this. Normally I let her pick her own fabric, but when I was querying her as to the features of this lunch pack, she was not in the decision-making mode. So I went ahead and selected this pretty print for her, and I hope she's gonna like it. So now I am going to top stitch all the way around the finished edges. I have a cute little flap here, and the sizing is good on that. Now, if this were for me, I would be installing hook and loop tape on the flap and on the bag. But I know that Megan will not appreciate the noise that that hook and loop tape makes when she's trying to sneak some food in class. So I'm going to do her a favor and install 2 snaps on this in each corner of this flap. And I am just using the prong snaps here, which I got at Hobby Lobby as well. So I'm going to put the decorative side on the front there so she can see where the snap is positioned when she's opening and closing this. And I just use a little hammer, and then the male portion goes inside of that, and there is 1 snap installed, and I'm going to repeat that on the opposite side. The chopstick is also very handy. Saves your nails when you're installing these snaps. Okay, then I can fit this flap in between the interior and exterior layers of this. So you'll have to decide which is your front and which is your back. And I will be transitioning to pins at this point because I don't find that the clips hold the flap level. So I'm just going to be tucking about 1.5 inches of that flap in between the layers. And I have that flap centered along the back of this bag. And then once the flap is in place, then I can turn that over, and I'm going to have to remove the clips along the front as well. And I'll secure that with a pin at center so that I can test the flap and see about where I want that to fall. Now, if I attach those snaps like this, then she would have like a flat lunch tote. If I wanted her to have more of a boxy tote, I would attach these snaps closer to the top. I actually really like the look though of it flat versus boxy. That is super cute. So I may go ahead and do that. Maybe I'll compromise and give her the best of both worlds and just position them in the middle in case it's a day when she's packing lunch and dinner. So I'll flatten that down, and I'm going to give her a little bit of leeway there, and that flap will be folded over on itself about 1.5 inches at the top there. And so I'm going to take the remaining non-decorative portion of that snap, and I'm going to poke holes in that exterior at the point that it should be attached. And then because I'm using that heavy interfacing, I can come in from the underside there, and I don't have to worry about reinforcing this at all. And I can just get those prongs in the vicinity there and then poke those through, and I'll bring the flap back over, make sure the prongs are on there nice, and then give it a good whack. Great. And I want to do the same thing on the opposite side. I want to do my best to keep that flap nice and straight. So I'm just going to poke through the material where I think that snap should be positioned, come in only through the exterior layer, prongs up, and get that remaining portion of the snap to poke up through the fabric. And then I can bring that flap down, make sure the prongs are resting in the channel of that, and then give it a good whack. And I'll give you a closer look at the snaps that I use. These are also from Hobby Lobby. There's 4 parts: the decorative, the base prongs, the male, and the female portion of the snap. And these work wonderfully for small projects like this. So my flap is in place, and when the bag is loaded, she will have about that much depth across the top there. It's probably 2.5 inches. Then she'll have the full 5 inches at the base. And the way that the handle is going to be, it will draw in the excess here at the top, so nothing will fall out. I'm loving that. It's super cute. It's a great size for her. I think she'll be very happy. So for the handle, I am going to use some webbing. This is 1¼ inch really nice cotton webbing, and I just want to make this so that she can just have a little carry handle there. So I'm going to cut off a 17-inch piece of the webbing, and I'm going to insert that right in between the interior and the exterior at that side seam. And I will use the long pins to secure all of that. Super duper cute. And then if for any reason she didn't want the handle up, she could put the handle down into the lunch container, and when the flap is closed, that handle would be concealed as well. Okay, so now I want to unsnap the flap, let that fall across the back, and I'm going to fit this up on the machine there under the presser foot, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the perimeter of this. I will back stitch at the handle there to reinforce. And I like to start right at the flap so that it can get secure and there's less of a chance it will shift on me. All right, I made it all the way around the perimeter, and I'm really happy with this interfacing. You can see the bag stands on its own when it's empty, yet it's nice and lightweight. I think Meg is going to be thrilled with this as well. So I have to say, I highly recommend this interfacing that Catherine has. Love it. We'll be working with the lighter version in August when we're designing our new wallet. So you will have to tune in then to find out how that feels and functions. But overall, the heavy is really awesome. Again, I would describe it as a cross between the Pellon 808, 809, and the Decoville Light. It really is an ideal choice. So bravo, Catherine. And thank you so much for sending that sample to me as well. So let me give you some finished measurements on Megan's little lunch tote. It is coming in 8 inches tall and 5 inches across the base there, 6 inches across the front and the back, and then at the top we're 9 inches. So it really is a great little mid-sized lunch pack. I think it'd be perfect again for any student. And if you did not want the handle upright, you could definitely tuck that down inside of the pack, and then the flap would hold that down like that. I don't know if I like that look as much though, but that definitely is an option for anybody if they wanted the flap out of the way. And then when it's not in use, it folds nice and flat, and it can fit in the backpack or the drawer, wherever you want to keep that. Yeah, so great. So before we say goodbye today, you may have noticed I have some new merchandise here. This is my custom logo. I designed this especially for us, and there is some more information about this logo and the symbolism behind it. Is so much more than just the words here that you see on the mug, which is a circular design there. So I invite you to hop on over to Sewspire.com to read more about the symbolism behind this logo. If you like the look and would like for me to make you one, I am selling these. They're 11-ounce mugs. They are perfect for studio work, and I think once you understand the symbolism behind the logo, They will serve as a wonderful source of inspiration for you. I will be talking about this logo very, very soon with you and explaining more as well. In the meantime, I invite you to read the blog post over at Sewspire.com and then check the description box below for a link to order one if you like the look. I'd be delighted to make you one. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is a little look at this gorgeous fabric that I just got in. I am going to be making a custom camera bag for a customer over at Watermelon Wishes, which is my custom bag shop. This is beautiful, and these are the prints that she selected. I especially like that there. I think it's going to be a really nice combination for her, and I will be sure to share photos with you all of what this camera bag looks like when it is all done. And then I just have actually one more thing to show you. I made a custom messenger bag for a dear friend of mine who is moving away, ready to give her, but I thought I would show you all before it's gone. Isn't this spectacular? It's really pretty. I got these sweet little moons on the inside, and then there are 3 pockets on the inside, a key fob, and then 2 pockets here on the front. She is very petite, so this is a little petite messenger which she can wear crossbody if she likes. So again, huge thank you to Catherine at Sew Your Bag for sending me the interfacing. I am absolutely thrilled with the heavyweight. Highly recommend that for anybody who's looking for that middle road for stability. It's nice and lightweight, but yet the product will stand on its own. Bravo, Catherine. Wonderful choice. I will see some of you next week for a Plan to Be Creative meeting. Everybody is welcome to join that if they like. We set 3 creative goals for the month ahead. We meet at 7 p.m. on the first Tuesday of every month. Everybody gets a chance to share, and then generally we have time to visit a little bit before we say goodbye. There is a Facebook group for the Plan to Be Creative as well that you are also welcome to join. So I'll put that link down in the notes for you, and it is on the Facebook group that you will find the Zoom information. And then I think the next time I see you after that is next Friday, when we will kick off our wallet series here at Sewspire. So thank you for joining me for this little end of month post staycation bonus video. Until we meet again, as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. I hope you all have a beautiful week. I'll see you soon.